What's up? Today I want to speak about something that came about because I was asked a question that I'm asked a lot of the time, but it prompted me to make this video. So I was asked, how do I find, who can I contact if I'm looking for a music publisher? And I gave this person an answer, but they weren't happy with the answer. And they were like, I just need a name of someone. And I was like, you know what? With you approaching the situation like that and saying, just give me a name of someone I can contact, I promise you that any sort of deal that you do get or any sort of situation you get yourself into is probably not going to be a good one. They obviously didn't want to hear what I had to say, so here I am, and now I'm venting. So the first thing I would have to say is if it feels too good to be true, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Back in 2012, I signed a publishing deal with Universal Music. I don't speak about it much because nothing happened. It was a friend of a friend who knew the person working at UMG at the time. I found myself in an office with a thick stack of paper. I signed it, and wasn't a promise of briefs, but it was like, okay, let's get to work. And shortly after that, like I heard nothing from the person. I was given an email address as well. I started emailing this person saying, yo, do you have any briefs? Are there any pieces of work that I can get to work on? Is there anything that I can do to make the most of this relationship? I mean, I've just signed a 2-year agreement. I didn't really read through it, but I was just happy that something had happened to me. And nothing happened. And it was because, first of all, I did zero work. Secondly, I didn't understand what I was doing. I didn't understand the landscape of music publishing, library music, getting my music playing, on TV and all of that. It was only the following year when I actually took time and actually did a deep dive to figure out how this works. Did things actually work out for me? So, on the face of it, Universal Music, oh, lovely, great. But it was an opportunity that was too good to be true. And it turned out to be just that way. The second scenario was not too long ago. I decided to find a bunch of independent and upcoming music publishers, and I tried to send music through to them. And a lot of them were like, "Yo, yeah, keep sending your music through. We'll get it placed." Not promises, but like saying that we will get your stuff placed. It sounds good. Just keep sending us more. And I was like, yeah, let me send more. So I brought all my music together and I just started sending it out to people. I started making a lot of music. And I realized again, I was like, this is becoming a little bit too easy and people are just saying yes to everything that I'm sending through. And that was when I realized again, if the opportunity feels like it's too good to be true, chances are it probably is. To this date, I haven't seen anything massive placed from these few small independent publishers that I'm working with. I'm still a bit hopeful. The jury is still out. We'll see what happens with them. But for the most part, now time will do its thing because I've done my work. Some of them I've sent 10 tracks, some I sent 30, others I sent 90, some I sent 200. So I've sent out a lot of music in the past few years. And it's just a case now of just seeing what pops off. And if it doesn't pop off, then I'll leave that publisher to the side. I will no longer be sending them any more music because time has shown that they can't get my stuff placed. But again, in some of the situations, it just feels a little bit too good to be true. And I'm starting to realize that because I didn't work hard to get that opportunity or I didn't, maneuver or craft to get the opportunity, things are going to fall apart. Easy come, easy go. Now, with the one or two publishers that I have worked with that have really paid dividends, or the opportunities that I've gotten into InSync and music licensing that really have paid me back, are the ones that were the most difficult and windy paths that I had to go down. I remember the very first publisher that I started working with, I found because of a meeting I happened to be in that showed me where the music publisher list is on the Capasso rate card, which then led me to having a few more meetings with another person, which then led me to sending music through to a few people and only one person responded positively, which then led me to sending even more music in and working on even more projects to eventually getting my first placement. It could have been the space of 6 to 12 months before that happened. But it just so happened that because I had worked so hard for it and I worked the system in the best possible way that I could, The opportunity that I carved out was purely mine. It was one that I could own and say, look, if you're looking for a music publisher, I can tell you how to find one, but me just pointing over there and saying, just go and find a music publisher over there is not going to help you, because in the same way it was for me with the Universal Music situation, easy come, easy go. You're not going to really cherish the opportunity, and you're not going to do much with it. Also, the person who's entering into that relationship with you is also going to look at you and be like, I'm just doing so-and-so a favor. It's a friend of a friend, and nothing's really going to happen. So all of this to say that the best way to find opportunities that are going to pay you the biggest dividends at the end of the day it's going to be through the boring stuff, the stuff you don't want to do, the stuff no one else wants to do, because when you do that, you carve out opportunities for yourself that no one else can carve out. If you decide that to yourself that you're going to create 3 or 4 tracks every week for the following year and put together a catalog, you're already miles ahead, because most people don't want to do the long-term hard work in terms of putting music out. If you want to find a music publisher or a record label or anybody else who's going to support you, being able to get onto the internet, you've got access. If you're watching this video already, you get onto the internet and you research and you figure out which one of these people actually speaks to my opportunity or the opportunity that I want to get. Take yourself and put yourself in the future and say, in 5 years' time, where do I see myself? And then reverse engineer from there and say, I want to be working with those people. I want to be doing that there. What can I do today to take me to that point there? If you say, yeah, I want to be working with the best music publishers in the next 5 years, but you're only releasing one song every year, it's not going to happen. You need to map out what it is that you're doing today to what it is that you want to achieve in the next few years. So, to wrap it up, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Put in a little bit of work, do some research, you have the access, and I promise you the opportunities that you get at the end of that process are going to be worth so much more, and the relationships and the networks that you build from doing it that way is going to be so much better than you just saying, yo, slide me a contact, let me get in touch with someone because, they're your friend. Yeah, just think about it.